dominant champions of recent memory.
When we think of the all-time greats in wrestling, one name stands out above the rest: Roman Reigns. If you ask any of the legendary champions, icons like The Rock, The Undertaker, Ric Flair, John Cena, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Triple H, and even Hulk Hogan, they all recognize and respect your tribal chief, Roman Reigns. Over the past few decades, numerous wrestlers have been given the opportunity to shine as champions. It's often about how long they hold the title and the impact of their reign. Each champion has their moment, their story to tell. Roman excels in this aspect. His timing and placement in every segment are calculated, making every action significant. He's the guy you want to see at the forefront. Everything Roman does has intention behind it. Understanding his character is essential to captivating the audience's imagination. As Ric Flair famously said, to be the man, you gotta beat the man.
To be the man! Woo! You've got to beat the man!
Roman embodies that philosophy. He possesses the complete package and earns the trust of those around him. This is what draws people into this profession, the desire to be that standout performer and experience the journey that comes with it. Throughout his career, Roman has consistently risen to the occasion. The most successful individuals in this business aren't just defined by ticket sales or viewership, they possess an innate ability to lead. Roman Reigns exemplifies leadership through his calm confidence and steady presence. He understands that growth comes from experience, including setbacks. After facing challenges, he decided to forge his own path. And since then, he has been unstoppable. There's truly no one like him in this industry. Comparisons should only be made to his own legacy.
It's the reason everybody gets into this line of work, I think, is to want to be that guy and to experience what it is to take that on. I've never even heard of there being a time when Roman didn't handle it well.
Every wrestler can lay claim to being among the greatest in history. However, there is only one individual who can genuinely be called the GOAT, the greatest of all time.
It is on-the-job training, no matter what. We learn the most from failure. And Roman had his share of knocks, and finally it's just like, I'm doing it my own way. And it has been a wrap ever since. It has been drop mic conversation over. There's nobody like him. He should be compared only to himself.
When you hold the title of WWE Champion or World Champion, you're thrust into a role where you carry the weight of the organization. If wrestling is in your blood, it becomes challenging to redirect your life's path. It's a fundamental part of who you are. And Roman Reigns embodies that effortlessly. So who is Roman Reigns?
Who's Roman Reigns? Well, that depends on the perspective. That depends on how you relate to me, how I affect your life. But down to the core of it, I'm just a young man addicted to greatness.
Aspires to be the guy, but few consider the realities of that position and the responsibilities it entails. Being at the pinnacle of WWE means being at the top of the world, and with that comes significant obligations. Roman possesses all the qualities necessary to reach any heights he desires. He truly has star potential. The persona of the tribal chief represents a dream Roman has harbored throughout his life, even if he didn't fully recognize it as such.
I think he has all the tools to become as big as he wants to be. He's got star written all over him.
He has always sought significance and influence, but it was through embracing the character of the tribal chief that he discovered what he was meant to pursue. Roman Reigns was born in Pensacola, Florida on May 25th, 1985. His father's real name is Leati Joseph Anoahi, while his mother's side is predominantly Joseph's. His mother wanted to keep that tradition alive, hence naming him Joseph. Roman's father is a legendary tag team wrestler known as Sika from the Wild Samoans.
Throughout the 1970s and the 1980s, there was no tag team on the face of the planet that held as many tag team championships as Alpha and Sika, the Wild Samoans. And one night, Sika came into the locker room with his 3-year-old son, Roman Reigns. You could just tell the charisma of this 3-year-old.
As a child, Roman experienced his parents' separation and eventual divorce. His father was a tough man, shaped by his circumstances. Roman's heritage is a blend of Samoan and Italian Sicilian roots, but he found himself deeply connected to his father's side of the family. The Samoan lineage is filled with larger-than-life personalities and impressive physiques. Individuals like Umaga, Rikishi, and Yokozuna, who once held the title of World Heavyweight Champion. Being part of a family with such remarkable individuals gave Roman valuable insights into the business. He learned about both the sport and entertainment aspects from watching his relatives navigate their careers. Roman grew up primarily with his mother and sister, as his older siblings had already moved out. He was often surrounded by female relatives and cousins, including the twin sons of his uncle. The first time Jimmy and Jey Uso met Joe, Roman, they found him rummaging through their toy box. Roman wasn't going to let that slide. He stood his ground defiantly. These days, they might throw up a certain gesture, but back then, it was all about asserting oneself differently. It's likely that Jey was the one who ran off in tears after Roman playfully teased him. Jimmy, on the other hand, started giving him the middle finger, which led Jey to rush back to their family to tell them what happened. From that moment on, they've been throwing up the ones as a signature gesture. For Roman, seeing his brother's passion for football had a profound impact on him. He was inspired to pursue the sport because of his brother's love for it, which ultimately guided him down a path of athletics. This experience laid the groundwork for his future and served as a catalyst for the success that would follow. As Roman was leaving, two trainers intercepted him, leading them down a path that would reveal his diagnosis of chronic myeloid leukemia, CML, a type of blood cancer. Fortunately, he was diagnosed just before significant advancements in treatment were made, allowing him to avoid radiation and intensive chemotherapy. It felt like such an unfair twist of fate. After working so hard to reach this point, something entirely beyond his control occurred. This experience pushed Roman to reevaluate his direction in life. He began working for his sister at her company, Proactive Installations, which focused on office furniture installation. The Usos were also part of the team, encouraging Roman to join them. While they appreciated the financial support from their sister's business, it just didn't feel right for them. At this juncture, Roman's mindset underwent a transformation. He knew that he was right. By then, Jonathan had already joined FCW, Florida Championship Wrestling, which served as a training ground for aspiring wrestlers, essentially the minor leagues where individuals with varying levels of experience learned the ropes from seasoned coaches familiar with WWE's approach. While Roman was busy assembling office chairs in a warehouse, his father walked in and chuckled at him.
And my dad walked in and laughed at me. He just asked me, "You gonna build chairs for your sister your whole life?" Then he asked me, "When are you ever gonna want to wrestle?" I told him, I'm ready.
His father took him by the hair and sent him off to Tampa to learn how to wrestle. Tampa, at Florida Championship Wrestling, Roman found himself in an environment designed for growth and learning. This was where newcomers or those with minimal experience could hone their skills under experienced coaches who understood WWE's unique style.
The great ones have that it factor, and Roman Reigns has that it factor. The whole package.
You know that he's going to be a star. I saw all those qualities from that guy that's going to carry the company forward.
WWE officials quickly recognized Roman Reigns as a potential superstar. With his impressive physique, strong lineage, and ability to communicate effectively,
first time I seen him walk in a developmental system building, I said Roman Reigns will be a huge star.
he stood out among his peers.
Officials know what they have when they see Roman Reigns. They know they have a potential mega superstar in their midst.
He's got a great look, a great heritage, a good body, and he can talk.
There were murmurs about calling up a group of promising talents that included Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and Dean Ambrose. What sets Roman apart from other rising stars is his unwavering determination. The Shield was not only innovative, but also showcased a unique dynamic among the trio. As Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and Dean Ambrose traveled together to their next pay-per-view event, they were eventually pulled aside to discuss their plans for the evening.
You are looking live at the packed Bankers Life Fieldhouse in Indianapolis. This is the Survivor Series. What is this? What are these guys doing? No way! What is going
mercenaries.
The hounds of justice are upon us.
A three-man SWAT team coming for a war.
These guys truly may be unstoppable.
Nobody's ever gone out there and really showed teamwork like we did.
They just keep getting better and better and better.
We were going to go out every night, be better than everybody else.
They were hewn from the toughest materials, forged in the fires of competition. The Shield stands resolute. The Shield's arrival onto the WWE scene sent shockwaves through the locker room, changing the landscape of the entire organization.
It was 3 stars that all brought something different to the table.
The things that Seth Rollins does, I don't do. The things that I do, he doesn't do. The things Roman Reigns brings, we don't bring.
Each member brought something distinct to the table. Seth Rollins had his own flair, Dean Ambrose contributed his unique style, and Roman Reigns brought an undeniable presence. Their individual talents complemented each other, creating a powerful dynamic within the group.
The Shield standing tall. Believe in the Shield.
They had this, I don't know if it was arrogance, but this confidence that they couldn't be stopped, and they wouldn't be stopped. And the reason why is they thought they should have been here a long time ago.
Roman Reigns emerged as the powerhouse, the one who commanded attention and respect. The Shield exuded a confidence that bordered on arrogance, believing they were destined for greatness long before their time had come. In a business where egos can clash and dominance is often fleeting, the Shield's synergy made them an unstoppable force. Fans were eager to see their next target and what chaos they would unleash, one of the most formidable forces to ever step into WWE. Wherever they went, Roman garnered massive reactions from the crowd. It was clear he was being groomed to emerge as the standout star from the faction. As WWE began to separate the Shield, Roman found himself in an unexpected position, transitioning from the tough persona of a big dog to a more traditional babyface role.
Didn't want to break up the Shield. And I definitely didn't want to be a good guy. And that's exactly what was happening.
Reigns kind of by default became a sympathetic figure.
He had every element that the WWE traditionally looks for in a main event superstar.
Roman was the cool, silent muscle of the group. And once he broke away from the Shield, suddenly he wasn't so silent. And a lot of things that he was doing weren't so cool.
You are a sniveling little suck-up sellout full of suffering succotash, son!
This shift didn't sit well with fans who had come to appreciate his earlier character. Initially, Roman was met with cheers, but as it became apparent that WWE was positioning him as their next big star, the narrative shifted. Fans started to feel like he was being forced upon them, leading to a backlash.
Fans looked at Roman as, oh yeah, he's pretty cool. But when they realized that WWE, the corporate machine, had gotten their hands on Roman Reigns, that Roman was the next guy that was going to be shoved down our throat, we weren't ready for Roman Reigns to be that guy.
The pressure of headlining WrestleMania transformed Roman Reigns' career. Any wrestler aiming for the top must endure significant trials to earn the respect of the audience. It's not enough to just be placed in a main event. Credibility must be earned through hard-fought battles. For Roman, that trial by fire came in the form of a brutal match against Brock Lesnar.
I'm not a superstar. I'm an ass kicker. That's it.
Any guy who becomes the guy at some point has to walk through hell in some match that gives them the credibility with the fans. You know, you can push a guy, you can put him in the main event, that doesn't mean he's the guy. Roman had to walk through hell, and that was with Brock Lesnar.
Lesnar, a dominant force known for his ferocious strength and athleticism, presented a formidable challenge. As the two competitors faced off in the ring, Roman realized this was his opportunity to prove himself, to silence the doubters, and cement his legacy.
It was just something about him and his aura, everything that he was doing that just made him different and unpredictable. We're just gonna go out there and be violent.
Fans paid good money to see Brock unleash his fury on Roman. During that match, it was one of the first moments where Roman could truly sense the crowd's shift in attitude. If you were in the midst of that intensity, you could feel the change in energy and the respect that emerged through their performance.
Wow. And now, again, suplex to Roman Reigns. Lesnar wants to punish Reigns.
I don't care who my opponents are. I got one job to do and one job only, and that's to kick ass.
And Lesnar in another German. Suplex City, bitch. Oh no, and Roman Reigns drops Lesnar into the post. Roman Reigns knows this is his chance. Superman punch.
Performance.
Reigns, spear, Lesnar. And he finishes at 5. Who can capitalize? What the hell?
There's also something known as Money in the Bank, which allows the victor of that match to cash in for a shot at the World Championship whenever they choose. In this case, it was Seth Rollins who took advantage. This was meant to be his defining moment, the pinnacle of his career, the grand debut that would establish him as the top star in the company. Yet, in just a few fleeting minutes, it was all stripped away from him. Roman possessed all the makings of a superstar. Athleticism, physical fitness, and remarkable skills in the ring. He truly had it all. However, WWE fans prefer to see stars rise through organic growth.
Roman Reigns is back in the main event at WrestleMania. Spear by Reigns!
But the WWE fans weren't having it. They wanted nothing to do with it.
One of the most competitive superstars to ever step foot in the ring. And we'll have his hands full tonight for the man who's 23-1 at WrestleMania.
But the audience was not receptive. They rejected the idea entirely. The Undertaker is perhaps the most cherished character among fans in WWE history. We couldn't accept that Roman Reigns would be the one to usher The Undertaker into retirement. The booing reached levels I had never witnessed before. It was unprecedented how loudly he was jeered. Roman's rise to prominence was seen as forced and contrived, eliciting a visceral reaction from the WWE universe. Roman faced a seemingly insurmountable obstacle, overcoming the crowd's resentment. It became abundantly clear that no matter how much WWE fans expressed their disdain for Roman Reigns, the company was unwavering in its support.
To WrestleMania 34, where the headline is once again Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. And fans showed up to WrestleMania already thinking, well, Roman's going to beat Brock, and I'm not going to like it. Until Roman didn't win.
Roman didn't come out on top. Against all odds, Brock Lesnar emerged victorious. This unexpected outcome had a surprising effect on the fans. There's a curious phenomenon in our industry. The more time and effort you invest and the more passion you display for this unique realm we call WWE, the fans start to take notice. Over time, something shifts within them. They begin to reconsider their stance. For a moment, you might think, maybe he really is the one. You find yourself feeling a hint of support for Roman Reigns. SummerSlam was one of those pivotal moments.
For a second, you go, oh, maybe he is the guy. Ooh, I like that. Ooh, yeah, and you start to, oh, what's that? Did I just feel myself rooting for Roman Reigns? I think SummerSlam was one of those instances.
Reigns did it! Roman Reigns did it! Reigns is the champion!
It truly became a career-defining event. It marked the turning point where fans finally embraced Roman Reigns, completing a full-circle journey.
When I got there, I could tell like the whole crew was in there, and they broke the news that, you know, my white blood cell count was obviously elevated. They kind of already knew what was going on.
And we're kicking things off with the Universal Champion.
My real name is Joe, and I've been living with leukemia for 11 years. And unfortunately, it's back. And because the leukemia is back, I cannot fulfill my role. I can't be that fighting champion. But I want to make one thing clear. By no means is this a retirement speech. Because after I'm done whooping leukemia's ass once again, I'm coming back home.
At that moment in time, we all were with Roman Reigns. We were all with Joe. This is bigger than wrestling.
None of us knew. You know, his personal life is his personal life, and, you know, he keeps that a lot to himself. So most of us did not know what was happening at night.
In that moment, we were all united with Roman Reigns. We were all behind Joe. This transcended wrestling. It was something more significant. None of us are privy to his private life. He keeps that close to his chest. However, he's become a symbol of perseverance and resilience. In that infamous promo, he introduced himself as just a guy named Joe and revealed to the world that he was battling leukemia. This news hit hard, regardless of your feelings toward Roman. His contributions to the industry were undeniable, and when someone you care about faces illness, it feels deeply personal. It's painful to see someone you admire go through such a tough time, and it meant he would be away from us for a significant period while he fought this battle.
Yeah, but I feel like I can handle the rest.
Probably gonna say this a lot, but I'm gonna start off by saying thank you.
Subtitle.
The amount of thoughts, the amount of blessings, the amount of prayers that you sent my way is completely overwhelming and God-sent. Thank you so much. The good news is I'm in remission, y'all.
And we echo the sentiments of the WWE Universe. This is your yard. Welcome back, Roman Reigns is back.
I believe that was one of the most challenging phases of Roman's career. Roman Reigns overcame leukemia and emerged even stronger. We had grown accustomed to the emotions he stirred within us, making it easy to revert to those feelings. Old sentiments resurfaced, and it was a difficult reality to face. The crowd's reaction was intense. It was clear that there were those who didn't warm up to Joe at all. If you feel compelled to change your path, go for it, but timing is crucial, right? The pandemic struck, Roman made the decision to step back. The World Health Organization declared it a pandemic. The NBA suspended its season, Major League Baseball postponed games, and everything else came to a halt as everyone went into quarantine due to the contagious nature of the virus. At that early stage of the pandemic, protocols were still being established and much was uncertain. So he chose to stay home, telling them that he wouldn't put himself or his family in jeopardy until they could ensure safety. He was on the verge of retiring. Once he voluntarily distanced himself, not due to circumstances but by choice, that's when he could truly be honest with himself. It allowed him to take a genuine look at his journey and accomplishments. In doing so, he realized the magnitude of what he had achieved, and it became evident that if he played his cards right, he could take his career to the next level. He realized he wasn't satisfied with where he stood. He felt he hadn't reached his full potential and was still held back by an invisible barrier. It was time to break free. This lesson had been imparted to him early on by his late brother, who advised him that he had limitations in his career because he was too nice and too much of a team player. His brother told him that if he ever wanted to be the top star, the main event attraction, or the face of the company, he would have to learn to embrace a more ruthless side at times. He could almost feel his brother's presence right beside him. It's essential to stand firm when necessary and prioritize what's best for you and your family. He decided it was time to adopt a tougher persona.
The big dog is here! Roman Reigns is back!
When I saw how he looked, I said, that's Joe.
Oh my God, it's Roman Reigns! Roman Reigns! Roman Reigns is back! You ain't a monster unless I'm here!
Not only had Roman returned, but he came back in a way we had never witnessed before. He entered with a dark, intense attitude, one that demanded respect and commanded attention. What are we supposed to make of this version of Roman Reigns? Just days later on SmackDown, it was announced that he was aligned with Paul Heyman. He assumed the role of the head of the table and became the tribal chief.
That's a spoiler.
Roman Reigns has won the Universal Championship!
Ladies and gentlemen, your tribal chief.
Feed them in and watch them all get slaughtered because this is my island.
This reinvention of Roman Reigns was daring, bold, and transformative. It was a departure from the heroic character he was initially portrayed as, and it presented a fresh perspective on his personality.
He went from the big dog to the tribal chief. He went from being the best of this generation to the greatest of all time. Just like that.
Roman is incredibly driven. His ambition to be recognized as the greatest of all time is profound, and he refuses to settle for anything less. However, it has always frustrated me that mainstream media, not to mention the WWE universe, often overlooked the credit Roman Reigns truly deserved.
Paul Heyman is the #1 villainous counterpart in the history of sports entertainment. And Roman is looking as confident as he's ever looked with this new special counsel. You realize, oh my God, we're on a completely different ride.
With this new special counsel by his side, Roman exudes more confidence than ever. It became clear that we were embarking on a completely different journey. We were navigating an unprecedented era in WWE. The world was in lockdown, and the usual fan atmosphere was absent. It was a challenging time for everyone. While many viewed it as a setback, Roman recognized it as a chance to shine. Roman was among the few performers who understood the unique landscape created by the pandemic.
Wait till you see what happens next.
With no live audience and minimal noise, he embraced a more nuanced approach. He became more patient and expressive, handling the situation with remarkable finesse. This version of Roman Reigns, the Universal Champion, brings a fresh attitude. He's transformed into a different kind of superstar, one that commands respect and wields power in a way that demands your attention. The WWE fans reacted with excitement. This is what they had been waiting for. For years, they attempted to portray Roman as the top good guy character in WWE, but the crowd was resistant. They simply couldn't accept him as the leading figure. It just wasn't happening. Essentially evolved into what he believed he should have been all along, and clearly it worked. While everyone else struggled to adapt to the absence of fans, Roman was over there revolutionizing the entire game. This was no longer about being the big hero that saves the day. It was about being a conqueror and making sure everyone knew it. Roman Reigns was creating a legendary heel persona that would be remembered as one of the greatest of all time. It was time to assemble the team. It was time to establish the bloodline. It was time to grab Jay by his hair and throw him into the deep end, and that's precisely what they did.
There goes the big dog. There goes Roman Reigns. There goes Mr. Main Event, Mr. WrestleMania. You know what they say when they see meals? Which one are you?
Our family relies on me being the tribal chief. That's who I am in this life. It won't ever be you. Because it'll always be me.
In many respects, this is how Roman perceives himself. He views himself as the head of the table, as the provider for both his family and the industry. When he finally had the chance to express his thoughts, delve into different facets of his personality, and showcase them on screen, it resulted in the most authentic version of Roman Reigns we've ever seen in WWE.
Jey Uso uttered the words, "I quit," only to save his brother Jimmy. And now the crowning of Roman Reigns, who now finds himself at the head of the table.
Jey Uso uttered the words, "I quit," solely to save his brother Jimmy. This moment marked the genesis of a compelling and dramatic storyline, a storyline that would expose the complexities of sibling relationships and the sacrifices one would make for family.
The Ulafala is sacred. Those beads only go around the head and the neck and the shoulders of someone who can bear the responsibility of wearing the Ulafala.
If he's not number one, he doesn't want to be there. But for Roman, it was just another night. He's focused solely on what comes next. How can he improve? How can he elevate this further? How can he distinguish himself even more from everyone else? This was merely the beginning.
The biggest WrestleMania match of all time. Winner take all. Championship unification. WWE Champion Brock Lesnar versus the record-setting Universal Champion Roman Reigns.
WWE Universe on their feet, witnessing the spectacle that is winner take all.
Spear by Reigns! The titles have been unified.
Following the WrestleMania match, Stone Cold Steve Austin approached Roman, having followed his career closely. Stone Cold simply had to give credit where it was due, and it's clear that Roman Reigns isn't going anywhere anytime soon.
We're all sitting in a room. Roman Reigns said, "It's about time that everyone simply acknowledged me." Everyone in the room froze, and we all looked at each other and realized that's the very definition of the tribal chief Roman Reigns. Acknowledge me! We weren't looking for a catchphrase. It just happened.
Undeniable reality. We need to respect Roman's contributions and the impact he has made in this industry. He deserves his accolades now, not posthumously. When John Cena returned, it became evident to Roman that he was making waves. The real indicator of success is when legends and former top stars start coming back, especially those who have gracefully stepped away. Cena was the first to return, and what happened? He got taken down. There are clear market indicators showing what's successful and what's not. Everything about Roman Reigns is off the charts. It's not boastful to say he's something extraordinary. It's simply the truth. The wrestling business thrives on opinions, but I prefer to rely on data. Right now, the industry is thriving more than ever.
The business is the absolute best it's ever been. It has gone from an IPO stock at 35 to stay in the trenches at 7. It closed and merged with a company for an estimated value of $21 billion under the watch of the tribal chief. He is leading in merchandise revenue sales. He is selling out arenas at a pace that could only be rivaled in the Attitude Era.
With so many entertainment options available today, streaming services, YouTube, and more, it's remarkable that he has captured the attention of 2.5 million viewers every Friday night, making it must-see television. Now it's time for another evolution. What new dimensions can Roman explore? How can they refresh his character? What moments can be created?
Just yanked the official out of the ring. That is Solo Sikoa, the Usos' younger brother, Roman Reigns' cousin.
Roman called upon Solo as a safeguard to ensure that his family's legacy continues to shine brightly. This added layer of protection allowed Roman to focus on maintaining his reign, confident that he had the support of his family at his back.
Now the whole world can acknowledge me.
Roman emphasized the importance of uplifting others, saying, put them in the spotlight, showcase their talents, and challenge them to rise just like I had.
The bloodline's gonna have all the gold soon.
He knows he's the greatest, and there's nothing that any of us or anyone on the roster can say to dissuade him from that. Everybody that's around Roman Reigns is now bigger because of it.
In this business, if you're not progressing, you're stagnating. That's why Roman began to take notice of Sami Zayn.
He's just not himself right now, that's it, okay? Lately, he just hasn't been very Usi.
Fans might not be eagerly anticipating their pairing, but when it happens on screen, it turns into something genuinely entertaining.
The tribal chief said he wants peace. I don't give a damn what the tribal chief said.
What I feel like people have been begging for a long time, long-term storytelling, and that's a testament to the entire bloodline.
In a group of wolves, it can be challenging to showcase different personalities, but introducing a sheep among them brings an instant relatability. Sami represented that innocent figure within the bloodline. What Roman and Paul Heyman accomplished was remarkable. They took a pair of young men, the Usos, who were often indistinguishable, and crafted their identities. They made fans care about Jay and left them curious about Jimmy. It wasn't just about the twins anymore. They began to develop distinct personalities.
My career has elevated because of him.
You want it, it's yours. I'm done.
Man, that storytelling and character and emotion trying to bleed through the screen and push through the screen, that's a whole nother different level. I come out on the other side, a whole nother character. Right-hand man, main event, Jey Uso. I got a main event today from him. I learned everything from him.
The level of storytelling and character development they brought to life is something else entirely. The intricacy and nuance of the story made it impossible not to invest, and it ultimately set a new standard for long-form narrative arcs in WWE.
Roman's not a people pleaser. He doesn't give what anybody thinks about him. He can't, because that's always been the thing that's let him down. That's the difference between Joe and Roman. is I've taken one side of Joe and I've completely magnified it, spotlighted it. He doesn't care what anybody thinks. He'll do whatever he has to do to be the very best.
Sometimes the bad guys win.
Joe and Roman lies in how Roman has taken one aspect of Joe's persona and amplified it. He's focused on being true to himself without worrying about others' perceptions.
945-day reign continues.
Roman's commitment to his character, combined with his genuine desire to bring something unique and fresh to the industry, has made him one of the most successful figures in WWE's recent history. The organization has expanded tremendously, evolving into a global powerhouse. With that growth comes an increased responsibility for the top star, and Roman has embraced it seamlessly. That's why he deserves recognition, as the younger generation would say. He deserves his props. Occasionally, a standout athlete emerges who is so overwhelmingly dominant that they transform their entire sport. In WWE today, we are fortunate to witness Roman Reigns surpassing 1,000 days as champion. Considering the few who have held the title longer than him, such as Hulk Hogan, Bob Backlund, Bruno Sammartino, and now Roman. Triple H remarked,
It is my honor to present you with a brand new, undisputed WWE Universal Championship.
This reign is more than a record. It's a representation of Roman Reigns' unparalleled greatness, dedication, and commitment to his craft. If it were solely about Roman, he might have stepped away much earlier. However, for this to reach its full potential, he believes that others should benefit as well. That's his goal. That's all he has ever desired. It's his duty to represent his WWE, his family, his bloodline, and their legacy. It's fair to assert that Roman Reigns represents the most cinematic interpretation of a champion in the history of sports entertainment.
And I love books for that, you know. So.
If Roman decided to retire today, his legacy would be that he elevated the greatest family dynasty in WWE history to unprecedented heights, a level no one could have anticipated, and likely one that no other family will ever replicate.
We only recognize something when we romanticize about it, when we look back on it. I hope there's a few more folks out there that can realize that Roman Reigns is a very unique individual. There's never been a performer like him. Roman Reigns as the tribal chief is the greatest of all time.
His accomplishments and legacy transcend the sport of wrestling, and his impact will reverberate for generations to come. Roman has been preparing for this role for a long time. Over the years, he has refined it until it truly belongs to him now. He has mastered it so thoroughly that he is poised to remain at the pinnacle throughout his career. There is only one individual who can claim to be the face of this company. There is only one person who can assert they are the main event.
There's only one man that can say they're the face of this company. There's only one man that can say they're the main event. Not a main event, the main event.
Finally come into his own. Now we see a man entirely at ease with his identity and with being the face of the company. This confidence stems from experience and formative years. Many events in Roman's life have shaped him, equipping him to handle any situation that arises. This is why he stands prepared for anything. At this peak moment, no one has put in more effort than Roman. Whether people acknowledge it or not, he accomplished much while rising to greatness.